Thank you guys so much for sending in questions for the Tuesday Q&A. Remember, if you want to have your questions answered for Thursday's Q&A, description box down below with all the details on how you can do so. All right, let's get started with this one. Stephen Bradley asks, do you think the Lakers' big three this year will be enough to make a playoffs? If you think Carlos Boozer, Jeremy Lin, and Kobe Bryant's the big three, you have some problems. But yes, you guys have enough to make the playoffs. You have Kobe Bryant. You have one of the best players of all time. If he comes back strong and healthy, then yes, you have enough. At Johnny Russo asks, what are some of your favorite feuds of all time? Favorite feuds of all time. Jericho versus Michaels. That was great. Edge versus Undertaker. Triple H versus Rock. Triple H versus Jericho. Austin versus Rock. Styles versus Daniels. Randy Orton versus Undertaker. Randy Orton versus Mick Foley. Stratus versus Lita. And Stratus and Mickey James. Those are my 10 favorite feuds of all time, if you were wondering. Michael Schultz asks, what could you see next for Damian Sandow, being a jobber still? Michael Schultz also asks, what TNA stars, males and females, do you wish were in the WWE? Really no females in TNA. I don't think TNA has that good of a knockout selection at this current moment, and I don't think any of the knockouts would work well with WWE at this time, and I think some of them won't come back, i.e. Gail Kim and Taryn Terrell. But for WWE purposes, male superstars, Bobby Roode, Tennessee Cowboy James Storr, Austin Aries, Kurt Angle, and Jeff Hardy. Those would be the 5 TNA guys I would love to see in the WWE. Sportsfan77 asks, what are 3 guys in WWE being ignored that deserve pushes? It's Ryder, Ziggler, and Ryback. Those are the 3 guys that I feel deserve better positions on the card. Ziggler should be a top-end main eventer who should not, not always be fighting for the world title, but at least be in contention and be facing in big, high-profile feuds for you. Ryder should be that good mid-card guy that maybe gets 1 world title shot in his career, and Ryback should be so much more. He should be your big motherfucking star right now. Paul Markalonis asks, Q&A, should the WWE bring back the Heath Slater jobbing to Legends concept and make it an annual theme on the road to WrestleMania? No, because you got to put into the factor that the WWE will have to pay these legends, and not only that, fly out the legends and give them hotel rooms and all that other stuff. And some of these legends can't go in the ring anymore, and it's going to be the usual legends that we know and love. I mean, yes, it would be cool to see some guys that we haven't seen in forever, but it's going to be the usual legends, so it would be dumb and stupid. Just make Heath Slater do something different. I don't think they need to rehash the Heath Slater trying to be the legend killer gimmick, so that's just my personal opinion. Travis Nelson asks, I got a question for you, and I hope it gets answered on your Tuesday Q&A. Well, it's being answered, buddy. What has been your favorite pay-per-view this year so far? Mine's Extreme Rules. WrestleMania 30. That is my favorite pay-per-view this year. James Isabel asks, Q&A question. Who was your role model growing up? Role model growing up, didn't really have that many role models. It was probably just not one role model. I probably had a bunch of different ones, like my dad, my uncle, my grandpa, some sports athletes and some professional wrestlers. So those would kind of be, I guess, role models, but I didn't have just one role model. And what did you think about Spike letting TNA go? I'm making a video on that tomorrow with full details, but I think it sucks because I feel like we need more professional wrestling here in America, and TNA was definitely something that is an alternative to WWE, whether you like it or not. So, in all honesty, it sucks, and like I said, I'll go more into detail about it tomorrow. The Rapper Beats asks, do you think WWE is going to pick up TNA for the network? It would make sense since they need more subscribers. No, TNA is not even doing well on Spike TV. What makes you think that they're going to help, network subscriptions? And not only that, the cost to promote TNA is so much money. I mean, don't forget, some of those guys under TNA contract, they're making good 6-figure deals that a lot of WWE guys aren't making. I'm pretty sure Bully Ray, Jeff Hardy, and Kurt Angle are being paid very handsomely by TNA to wrestle for them. So if you think about it, you would have to pick up those contracts. You would have to pick up the production costs. It just won't be worth it because I don't think it would help the network all that much. The WWE's really, really cutting back. I mean, that's why NXT is only an hour long, because it's in full sale. Production costs are not that high. Main Event's live because they already have the arena for SmackDown, so they just show Main Event live, and the production costs are not that high. So, like I said, no, bringing in TNA would not help network subscriptions. I get it because Spike TV did such a poor job promoting them, but it would just be too costly for the WWE, and it might not even pay out well for them. And your second question is, have you ever listened to Machine Gun Kelly? If you could, give him a listen. I have listened to Machine Gun Kelly. Not my favorite rapper, but he's definitely not the worst rapper in today's world, so I will say that. But he's okay from what I've heard. Josh Chambers asks, what's your favorite wrestling finisher and submission hold? Favorite wrestling finishers would have to be the Spiral Tap and the stunner and submission hold. Oh, it has to be the sharpshooter. Everyone uses sharpshooter, and the sharpshooter, it just looks so painful. It hurts your whole leg area and your lower back. Man, that looks like a painful submission. So definitely the sharpshooter. Like I said, because almost everyone uses a sharpshooter. It's such a sick submission move, in my personal opinion. Nintendo Fanboy 1998 asks, what did you think of the story of Brian's house being broken into and him taking one of the douchebags down? Do you think they were black? No, one of them revealed to be Hispanic, so I don't think they were black. I think they were both Hispanic. And it's cool that Brian did that because it shows how tough Daniel Bryan is. Because, like, you know, we like to talk about, like, oh, this isn't realistic. Daniel Bryan couldn't beat Randy Orton or Batista. And here's Daniel Bryan beating down two people that are robbing his house and probably going to harm his wife. Fucking badass Daniel Bryan is. That makes Daniel Bryan look legit in my book. And I gained a lot of respect for Daniel Bryan in doing that. Good work on Daniel Bryan's part. He's a smart man. And aren't Raws much better when Cena isn't there burying people? I guess it depends on how you view Monday Night Raws. How I view Monday Night Raws being good or bad is if the WWE writes good storylines for them and they can keep me entertained for almost the 3 hours that they have going for it. John Cena is not one of the main factors for me, in all honesty. You know, he does bug me and annoy me, but just because he's missing on a Raw does not mean every Raw is fucking great. That's just my personal opinion. I know a lot of people don't like Cena and they just view it that way, but that's not how I view it. I view it if the WWE executes storylines well, character development well, and if they're going to keep me interested and wanting to watch for next week. Bubblegum Flavored Steroids asks, what did you think of R-Truth's heel turn in 2011 in the UK? It was good because R-Truth needed a new refreshing character, and they gave it to him. And what were your top 5 favorite R-Truth moments as a heel in 2011? When he beat up John Morrison backstage, that backstage beating was vicious. When he was talking about spiders and he was going to make a spider stew. When he was talking about how he was afraid of the ladder match because he's afraid of heights. That was fucking hilarious. When he came out dressed up as a Confederate, that was fucking funny. And he's like, conspiracy, conspiracy. And he was singing that fucking song. I love that. I love that from R-Truth. And number 5, when he threw the soda on top of the fan. That was funny. When he was drinking out of the cup and then the fan's like, what are you doing? He just throws the soda on him. I really liked it. And an honorable mention is when he was bitching about, you know, like how he didn't have merchandise. But the only reason why that's not in the top 5 list because the audio was fucked up during that segment. Otherwise, it was good. Final Limits asks, how come you haven't done retro wrestling reviews on Sunday as promised? How come? I recently did SummerSlam 2004 review on this channel. It was just I didn't have time, really. I found a way to get more time, and I really like doing the YouTube videos. It keeps me from being too stressed out, so that's why I always upload so much, because this is my stress reliever. So I like uploading videos because it gets me away from, you know, stress going on with school, life, work, and whatever. So I'm now uploading them every Sunday. I'll keep up to my best to keep on doing it. Just know that sometimes making videos, it can take a long while and a long process. So I'm back to doing retro reviews though. So I did one this past Sunday. And you think Maya's a better character than Riley on Girl Meets World? Oh yes, because Maya has more dimensions to her. Right now we haven't seen Riley all that much evolve as a character. We know that she has a crush on Lucas, and that's pretty much it, and that she's really quirky. But Maya's just like Sean. Sean was always a more interesting character than Corey. There was no denying that. If you watch the old Boy Meets World, you know, Corey, even though he was the main character, he wasn't the most interesting character. Sean was always interesting. He always had some family problems. You know, I'm pretty sure Sean made you guys cry a lot more on Boy Meets World than Corey Matthews ever did. So in all honesty, yes, Maya is a more interesting character than Riley. Give it time. I think Riley will find her own patch. But really, to be honest, Maya has more dimensions to her that can make you kind of relate to her in a way. I Love Watermelon 525 asks, who was WWE and IC champion when you were born? In 1993, I was born, January 16th, I should say. And the IC champion was the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And the WWF champion was Bret the Hitman Hart. So not bad for me being born in that year. What are your thoughts on Morgan Freeman? He is amazing and awesome, and I wish he could narrate my fucking life. I would love that. Can you imagine just waking up every morning and Morgan Freeman's like, Chase is waking up from bed? It would be amazing. Mr. TNA 2005 asks, Orlando Jordan sucked in TNA. That is true. But his theme music was incredible in my opinion and in my top 3. What was your opinion about it? No opinion, because I hated when that music hit because Orlando Jordan sucked. And he had semen all over him, and he was gargling it, and it was disgusting. Anytime Orlando Jordan came on TV, Mr. TNA 2005, I left. So stupid. At number 2, Christian Cage heel run in TNA was fabulous and just a fun time to be a wrestling fan. What were your favorite moments from that one? When he brought back Tyson Tomko and he formed a coalition with Tomko and AJ. I thought it was good because it was a great way to get heel heat on Christian. You know, you have one of the best guys from TNA and AJ Styles. You have his old enforcer and Tyson Tomko. Great heel heaters for him, you know, to say like, oh my God, Christian won again because of those two. God damn it, Christian once again is the NWA champion. I like that, and I like the stuff that he did with Sting. So I really did like Christian's heel run. I wouldn't say it was the best time in TNA, that's for sure, but he did a good job as a heel, and I liked it a lot. What did you think of Red Wolf 316? I asked. What did you think of Alicia Flash from TNA? And did you think TNA dropped the ball with her? Yeah, I mean, you got cheerleader Melissa, and you give her this different name. Okay, we can get over that. But, like, here's a talent that you could have really, really done well for your Knockouts division, and you just don't do shit with her? Like, really? You managed to get this girl, and you won't do shit with her? That's the problem with TNA. They will get people that sometimes the WWE drops the ball on, or the WWE does never, ever picks up. They bring them into their company, and they just don't do shit. They just say, like, what do we do with her? Let's do nothing. So dumb. This is why TNA's in the predicament they are now, because they have to fucking go back to the beautiful people as one of their main things. Could you imagine if ECF Flash was still in TNA? It'd be so much better. And your second question is, do you read comic books? Hope this answers your question, buddy. The Gochi Man asks, in your opinion, do you think TNA is comparable to WCW in 2000? No, nowhere near close. Because WCW, as much shit as that company gets from a lot of WWE fans, WCW was only bad from the years 2000, 2001, and 1995. TNA from 2010 through 2014 has just been bad. It's just the truth. I know a lot of TNA fans will get upset with me about that, but it has. Anytime TNA takes 2 steps forward, they take 4 steps backwards. I feel like the only good things TNA has done from 2010 through 2014 were turning Jeff Hardy heel and Austin Aries creating Option C. Those are the 2 best things from those times. And if one of them is turning Jeff Hardy heel, you know you have a problem. WCW 2000 was bad TV, but not as bad as TNA, man. Not as bad as TNA. So I would not even compare it, because that's just 1 year stretch of the company of it being bad. TNA had 4 consecutive years. So how can you compare 1 year to 4 years? That makes no sense to me in math. So in all honesty, no, it's not comparable to WCW 2000. The Gochi Man asks, in your opinion, what's the most underrated Hell in a Cell match in WWE history? In my opinion, it was Triple H versus Chris Jericho at Judgment Day 2002. That's a good one. I would say Batista versus Triple H at Vengeance 2005. I feel that one is very underrated. I think Vengeance 2005 is actually an underrated show. I have to go back and watch that. Maybe I'll do that one day. Maybe a review of that one day. But yeah, very underrated show. Very underrated Hell in a Cell. I mean, they brought the kitchen sink in that match. Literally, they brought the kitchen sink in that match. So it was pretty crazy, that Hell in a Cell. And I don't think it gets that much props. I mean, all of other Batista's Hell in a Cells get props, but not that one. Kind of shaky to me. But that one, I think, is one of the more underrated Hell in a Cells. Joe Juicy asks, which of the 3 TLC matches have you enjoyed more? From the Dudleys, the Hardys, and Edge and Christian? Ooh. Well, the first one was technically the Triangle Ladder match. And then the second one was at SummerSlam 2000, TLC 1. And then the third one was WrestleMania 17, TLC 2. I would have to say SummerSlam 2000, just because that was more clean, and that was the first ever TLC match ever. And it was just crazy to think about adding chairs, ladders, and tables to the mix. Like, that was awesome. I know they did that in the Triangle Ladder match, but this was like the first legit TLC match, and it was much more cleaner. The WrestleMania 17 one definitely has more spots that are memorable, but there was so many run-ins that it was kind of diluted to me. So I like the first TLC match at SummerSlam 2000. Jake Loomis asks, who are some of your favorite technical wrestlers in wrestling? Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, Nigel McGuinness, a.k.a. Desmond Wolfe, for all you TNA fans out there, and Matt Sydal. Yes, believe it or not, people, Matt Sydal can technical wrestle. Go look it up. Jake Loomis also asks, do you think WWE should bring back the Cruiserweight division? No, and here's why. Because the thing with WCW, what hurt it with the Cruiserweight division, is because you had stars like Jericho, Malenko, Guerrero, and Mysterio, and Kidman in there, and yet when they would always challenge for the World Championship, they always get diluted to the fans' eyes, like saying, oh my God, these guys are just Cruiserweights. There's no way he's going to beat Kevin Nash, Goldberg, DDP, and whoever was the World Heavyweight Champion at the time. And that's the problem, because you set this stigma that these guys are only Cruiserweights and they can't break the boundaries and become World Champions. That's the problem with it. And I know a lot of people will say, well, what about Rey Mysterio, Chase? Well, Rey Mysterio is kind of a special subject where, this guy, is a merchandise seller for the company. This guy, has a huge, huge following, majority gets cheered, and you can give him a world title run just for saying, hey, good work right here. Rey Mysterio can break those boundaries, and it's not like at the time when Rey Mysterio was world champion, all these WWE Cruiserweight guys were becoming world champions. And normally cruiserweights are treated like jobbers. So that's why I would say no to the cruiserweight division. I understand where some people's points are because like a lot of wrestlers are smaller nowadays, and the WWE would definitely benefit from the cruiserweight division. But how many people are actually successful after the cruiserweight division? How many guys actually go up to that main event or mid-card level? That's the problem with the cruiserweight division. So I would say no about that. Greg Toomer asks, what did you think of Muhammed Hassan? And do you think it was stupid that the WWE was forced to release Muhammed Hassan because of the London bombing that happened back in 2005? I believe Muhammed Hassan actually got released because UPN Network did not like the character on TV, sir. Not because of the London bombing. Maybe that was a contributing factor, but I believe it was the UPN Network not liking the character. I liked Muhammed Hassan. I thought he was a great villain. You love to hate him. That was the perfect thing about Muhammad Hassan. You love to hate this guy. The character made sense at the time it was at. So really, to be honest, I love Muhammad Hassan. Josh Chambers asks, what did you think of SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, the video game? Good video game. Really, really good video game. You should go play it. The only problem with that is probably season mode is like if you play as a crappy wrestler like Maven or Al Snow, you can't really boost your stats up, so you're pretty much fucked if you face Brock Lesnar or Kurt Angle, but good luck to you. But it's definitely a great video game. Reed19 asks, if there was a story mode in WWE 2K15 should Sting be featured in it? If so, how would you use him? I would probably have it where you either try to get Sting to wrestle you in your respect match, and your character could either take the route where he turns heel on Sting because he just wants to be an asshole towards him to get him to it. Like, you wear the old face paint and you do stupid stuff like that, or you mimic the Crow Sting a little bit. That's what I would probably do with Sting, was I would just kind of mimic him, make you into a heel, or you're just a baby face who respects him, and maybe a swerve that Sting turns on you. Who knows? Like, I don't really know how I'd use Sting in a video game, but I'll definitely try to do it where you face him in one big match, whether it be a SummerSlam or WrestleMania. Question number 2. If WWE keeps giving Reigns this mega push, will the fans start to turn on Reigns like they did with Cena and Batista? If so, how long until they can stand him anymore? I don't think Reigns will reach Cena levels. He definitely will reach Batista levels. But the thing about Batista fans are kind of deluded on is that Batista was majorly cheered. And that's because WWE booked Batista to be humanistic. John Cena was booked like a Terminator to the point where no one could stand this motherfucker on the TV anymore. And he's a robot. That's pretty much it. Batista, they showed humanistic values to him. They had Batista be friends with people in the locker room, have funny conversations, seem like a natural human, but he's just successful. If they do that with Roman Reigns, he should be fine. I think they should definitely do a friendship storyline with Roman Reigns, where someone like Eddie Guerrero is supposed to be his friend. And I guarantee you, if Eddie would have never passed away, and we've got the conclusion that Eddie and Batista feel, I guarantee Batista would still be more cheered than Eddie Guerrero, just because Eddie Guerrero would have done a great job portraying Batista as a heel. I mean, hell, Eddie was managed to get more heel heat on himself than Rey. You would figure Eddie would get more cheered than Rey, but Eddie was getting booed out the buildings when he wrestled Rey. So Eddie knows how to play characters. So yeah, I feel if you go Roman Reigns more on the Batista route, he should be fine. But if you go him on the Cena route and he's the Mega Terminator, he won't be fine. John and Benger asks, here are my questions again. What match was so bad that you felt like shutting it off on your TV? Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump in 2007, and I did shut it off on my TV, and I went to go play video games because I felt that was more beneficial than watching that shitty episode of Monday Night Raw. And who is worst diva you have seen in the last 10 years? Eva Marie, and it's not even fucking close. Eva Marie is definitely the worst diva. Johnny Green, hey Chase, this is for your Tuesday Q&A show. Thank you. Who would you prefer doing your ring entrances if you were a wrestling superstar? Ken Anderson / Mr. Kennedy or Ricardo Rodriguez? Oh, Ken Kennedy. He would say my name twice. He'd be like, Oliver! Oliver! So it'd be awesome. I would love Mr. Kennedy to introduce me to the ring. And question number 2, who did the fans hate the most in your opinion? Vicky Guerrero or Muhammad Hassan? Hassan. Because he was a villain that you love to hate. Vicky was more like get the fuck off my TV type of heat for a little bit before she got, more heat on her where, she was actually a natural heel. So in all honesty, I would say Muhammad Hassan. I think the fans hated him a lot more. He was more ambitious with what he was saying than Vicky Guerrero. Vicky Guerrero was just more annoying. Sherrod Horror asked, why do you overact in your videos, and why did you do Where is Sheamus in your Raw review? Do you actually like that Cena clone? I overreact in my videos just because I find it funny. That's how I normally react. Like, Diego's beating fucking Fandango. What do you want me to say to that? Like, oh, Diego beat Fandango 1.5 stars. That's boring, man. Like, Diego, one of the most random characters in WWF history, WWE history, excuse me, beats Fandango. How am I supposed to react to that shit? You want me to be all calm about that? Hell no, I'm going to be pissed off. Here's Fandango, a good fucking character for the company, and they're burying him to fucking one of the Los Matadors and Diego. So stupid. That's why I overreact in my videos. If I see something or stupid live on TV or on past pay-per-views, I will overreact, and I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit if I make myself look like an idiot on YouTube. Otherwise, I wouldn't post these videos in the first place. Because some of the times I do make myself look like an ass on these videos. So, it doesn't matter to me. And why do I like Sheamus? I don't know how many times I have to say this. I've been a Sheamus fan. It's always a surprise when people find out I'm a Sheamus fan. I just like him. He's one of my favorite big guy wrestlers. I think he can go in the ring. I just like Sheamus. I want him to turn heel, though. I fucking hate this stupid babyface Sheamus that's like, yeah, and I was just curious where the hell Sheamus was. I mean, he hasn't been on TV for 2 weeks, so I was just kind of curious. I mean, he's a Breakfast Club member. I have to watch out for other Breakfast Club members, man, so that's why. And what did you think of the Core in the spring of 2011 and when they broke up? The Core sucked because they used them so fucking poorly. And when they broke up, it sucked because it benefited no one. Wade Barrett went through another gimmick change after the Core. Ezekiel Jackson, where the fuck is he? Oh yeah, TNA. And Heath Slater is a jobber. And fucking Justin Gabriel's being a high school bully on NXT. Now, if they would have done the Core versus the New Nexus, ooh, that would have been interesting. But no, instead, let's beat the Nexus to Randy Orton and let's have the Core face off Big Show, Kofi Kingston, and 2 other random fucks that I can't even remember at the time. Ugh, so stupid. God, the Core was so dumb. I don't know what they were trying to think of it. Lorna Low asked, Q&A, have you ever played WWE Day of Reckoning and Day of Reckoning 2? Yes, I have. Good games. You should go play them. What if Muhammed Hassan and Davari debuted September 10th or 11th, 2002? Year after 9/11, not good. And here's the reason why. I think a lot of people misconceived the Muhammad Hassan character. See, Hassan's character was more about how his race was being treated and how his people were being treated after 9/11. And this was actually real life shit that was going on at the time. Like, Muslims would actually get arrested on planes just because they were Muslim. And he felt like America was disrespecting him and that America is not truly a place where you live the American dream. Like, I get it where some people get confused that Hassan's character was all about 9/11 and all that stuff. But it wasn't. It was more about how his race was being treated. So I think a lot of people kind of need to like do a little bit more research on Hassan before they totally think that he's just some wannabe terrorist gimmick. Because that's not what he was. He wasn't supposed to be a terrorist. He was just trying to be the voice of reason for his people. So that's all I got to really say about it. Like I said, it worked perfectly for the times that he was in because airplane security was getting more tight. You know, people would look at Muslims the wrong way. If you ever been in an airport, I remember I've been to airports before and I would see Muslims just get stared down by all these crazy people, man. Like, holy crap. And, you know, people have got arrested. Go look at old articles where a Muslim just gets arrested after he gets on the plane because people think that there's a bomb in his freaking luggage. So, really, to be honest, Muhammad Hassan's character was more about standing up for his people more than the actual 9/11 attack itself. And also, I think it would have been too soon. Lino Gino asked, Q&A, what did you think of when Tatanka turned heel in 2006 and had a meaningless feud with Lashley? That's my thoughts. I have no thoughts on that. Tatanka coming back was useless as fuck, man. Really, Tatanka was useless. What was the point of bringing this guy back? It wasn't like he was a big character for you guys in the 90s. He was pretty much a failure in the 90s. You guys want to talk about how you guys hated Ryback's undefeated streak and you hate certain people's undefeated streaks that they got going now? Go fucking watch Tatanka's undefeated streak and please tell me how you thought that was better than Ryback's. Like, holy shit. Will TNA find a new TV deal or die like WCW did? They have a chance, but to find a new TV deal for sure. But if they don't, they're going to die like WCW did. But I would say they'll find a new TV deal. I think they're going to pick up some steam. They're going to do much better with their shows. That there might be a network out there that might want to take the risk of having TNA Impact Wrestling. Little Fish asks, Q&A, why do people think you're smug when you start to laugh? I don't know. I just think people look at me as a douchebag. They're just like, hey, this guy's a douche. Why is he laughing? What a fucking asshole. And they just hate me because I look like a douchebag. I get that all the time. People think I'm a douche in real life. Really, I'm not. But in all honesty, they just think I'm a douchebag. I don't know. And what did you think of King Booker gimmick and when he beat Lashley at King of the Ring 2006 to start the gimmick? Oh, it was good because Bobby Lashley at the time, he was not ready to be, a main event player for the WWE. There was definitely still some room for improvement there. And King Booker, in all honesty, it was the right time to have Booker T change his character and become a heel. He was just a bland baby face that was kind of like doing nothing, well, kind of a bland heel doing nothing. And really, it was good for him to win the King of the Ring tournament, solidify himself, give him another accomplishment in his Hall of Fame career, and then it led on to the World Heavyweight Championship. King Booker was definitely a nice, refreshing thing to watch on my television. I loved that King Booker. All hail King Booker. That shit was hilarious. Brony Loney asked Q&A, what did you think of the Un-Americans? Funny team. They didn't really do a good job getting heel heat on themselves. They were more funny, if anything. Christian, Lance Storm, and Test, they did their best to try to get heel heat, but they were more entertaining than they were like, oh, I hate them. And what wrestler or wrestlers reminds you of Trevor Phillips from GTA 5? Probably Dean Ambrose is like Trevor Phillips light. Mankind would kind of be more Trevor Phillips, and Brian Pillman is definitely Trevor Phillips for sure. So those three come into mind. Reginald D. Huff asks, what are your thoughts on interracial couples? Are you people marrying or dating a different race, or are you against it and think everyone should date their own race? If you love dating the person you're dating, man, female, black, white, Asian, whatever, go right ahead. I have no problem with it. Have you ever been turned down by a girl you liked a lot? If so, how did it feel? Yes, I have, and it's a crappy feeling, but you have to learn to kind of let it go. You just can't really dwell on it and be like, this girl dumped me, because then you're just thinking about her dumping you instead of like trying to live your life. Look, sometimes in life, things don't go your fucking way. That's just the bottom line. Things don't go the way you expect them to go. So, pretty much at the end of the day, you have to like reevaluate, like, why did this girl dump me? Maybe she's just not interested in me. Maybe I'm not her type. You just kind of have to deal with it and move on. But it is a crappy feeling for sure when a girl dumps you or a girl rejects you for sure. Reginald Diop asks, ever watch the George Lopez show? Yes, hilarious show. I love George Lopez. And why don't you do pre-recorded Q&As like you did before with Little Spinner Jr., aka Kuda Charumba last year? Because I haven't asked Kuda to do a Q&A. I'll bring Kuda back for a Q&A in the future. Just at this moment, I don't think he's interested in doing a Q&A. He barely does YouTube videos nowadays. I kind of dig just because I was bored and I asked him to do the video with me. Jack Trice asks, why does Dean Ambrose wear street clothes instead of regular tights? To be different and unique. That's what I would guess. Maybe that's what he feels. Maybe that's what the WWE feels. Like, hey, don't come out in tights. That's kind of boring. Come out in street clothes. So I think it definitely makes him look different and unique. I don't think every wrestler needs to wear tights and be all formal and shit. Maybe down the line he can wear tights, but I like what he's rocking it with right now. And what did you think of Regal when he used the power of punch? I liked it when he used it with brass knucks, but without brass knucks, it was kind of stupid. Because it's like, okay, dude, Regal, you're not the fucking Big Show. Your hand is not like fucking this huge or whatever. Like, one little punch from you is going to knock me out. Come on, get the fuck out of here. Like, these guys punch all the time in matches, and all of a sudden Regal just loads up his hand and hits him with one punch and it's over. No, I would say definitely with the brass knucks. It was definitely a great finisher. Randy Buscetta asked Q&A, what did you think of Vince's feud with Stephanie at No Mercy 2003? And did you know that it was the last time she wrestled? Will she be ring rusted now for a match with Brie? Oh, she's going to be ring rusted no matter what. Stephanie was never really a great worker. She was never really a great worker. She was never on the level of Shane McMahon's level of work. But when it comes down to Vince versus Stephanie at No Mercy, it was stupid. I don't get why Vince thought this would be a great idea or a great feud. I don't care about Vince beating up his daughter. It looks dumb on TV. But that's just my personal opinion. Like, why would you think this is like a great idea? Like, oh, let me go on TV and beat up my daughter. Why? It's so dumb. Fucking Vince. Some of his ideas are just so fucking stupid. And are Daniel Bryan and Brie Bella hippies? Yes. They're definitely hippies. Especially if you watch Total Divas. You cannot tell me these guys aren't hippie. And Mid Ralix. Oh, he's not going to end off this Q&A. I actually missed a question. So, Mid Ralix's questions are, what did you think of Batista versus Cena at SummerSlam? Good match. Definitely my favorite of a lot of their encounters. I believe they've only had really like 4 or 5 encounters, but definitely my favorite encounter for sure. And it shocked me to all hell that Batista went over Cena. I was so surprised about that shit. I was like, really? Batista beat Cena? Fuck. That surprised the hell out of me. And number 2, how did Chase Bolivar react to Bo Dallas losing? He was very upset. If you go on his Twitter, you can see his full reaction to that. But pretty much he was very upset, wrote some angry tweets, said this Raw was terrible, and he went to go watch Under the Dome instead because he said that show is awesome and nothing bad happens on Under the Dome, which I find kind of hypocritical because they kill off characters all the time on Under the Dome, but hey, it's Chase Bolivar logic. What are we going to do? And Cavillo85 ends this Q&A. Now that Lionsgate is now making a Power Rangers movie, which teams would you like to see put on the suit one more time? Time Force and Lost in Space, because those were my favorite suits and some of my favorite characters. And question number 2, if The Rock never got injured in 2013 and he faced Brock instead of Taker, who would have faced Taker at WrestleMania 30, and would we still have an undefeated streak today? Probably Cena, and if we would have the streak today, I would have to bet no. That would be my final answer on that one, because I would think that Taker was kind of getting up there and he kind of just didn't want to wrestle anymore. Like, he loves the business, he loves the company, but he kind of was just done at that point. And you could tell during the Brock match he was moving slow as hell. So in all honesty, I think Taker kind of just said, you know what, I'm ending this streak this year. I don't know who he would be against. I think we would still have the streak. I know a lot of people have been hearing that Rock interview, and a lot of people were like, oh, man, if The Rock would have come, we still would have had the streak. But I don't think that would have been a guarantee. I think he would definitely have faced Cena, and if not Cena, maybe Daniel Bryan. Oh, yeah, I don't think a lot of people would like if the leader of the Yes Movement ended the streak. That's an interesting question. Would Daniel Bryan be loved still if he ended the Undertaker streak? Probably so, because he's Daniel Bryan, one of the best motherfucking wrestlers in the world. But anyways, guys, thank you for sending in your questions. Remember to send in your questions for the Thursday Q&A. Description box down below with all the details how you can do so. Comment down below your thoughts on any of the questions asked in this video or any of my responses to the questions in this video. Make sure you guys give this video a big old thumbs up. Follow me on Twitter at ChaseAuburn68 and check out my website, chillinwithchase.com. All right, I'll see you all next time, guys. Peace.